Well, welcome to the Windsong Lodge here in Seward, Alaska. Alrighty, fellow travelers, welcome back to Adventures of a Traveling Don. My name is Benjamin O, and if my voice sounds a little weird, I'm still kind of getting over a cold, so I do apologize for any kind of nasally voice for this particular video. But this is the perfect weekend for me to particularly do this video here at the Windsong Lodge here in Seward, Alaska. And this is where I've been here for the whole summer. This is where I'm working at the Resurrection Roadhouse, which is the restaurant that is part of the lodge. But however, we're going to go check in because I've got the weekend off and I got myself a room. So I'm going to showcase a lodge tour here in Windsong Lodge. This is one of the top places to stay in Seward and probably honestly in Southern Alaska. And it is part of the Pursuit Company package. So we're going to go check in, do a room tour, and then kind of check out the hotel, particularly going into tomorrow for me, but for you guys, just in a little bit, and showcase breakfast, dinner, and things that you can do around the area as well. So obviously one of the first things you're going to do when you check into the Windsong Lodge is, of course, come to the main lodge here. This is where you'll do all of your check-in. The process is very, very simple, just like with any other hotel. But the lodge itself is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you talk about it's got kind of like that cabin style feel, but with huge open windows, like the high ceilings is fantastic. That fireplace over there, particularly on like colder nights or cold mornings, they'll have that going. It is absolutely amazing. And there's like the stonework on the fireplace itself is really cool. Behind me is, of course, the little cafe. We'll come back in the morning and check that out before we head over to the Roadhouse for breakfast. So if you are on the go, this is where you'll come to kind of get your coffee and maybe like a burrito or a breakfast burrito or a breakfast sandwich and take it to go if you don't have time for a full breakfast. But anyway, this is where you are. It also has a 24-hour gift shop, which mostly has kind of like souvenirs and stuff, but it does have some drinks and a few snacks if you need something particularly late at night after the Roadhouse closes. So, but anyway, let's go check out our room. Okay, so when it comes to the rooms here in Windsong Lodge, you've basically got about 15 different cabins. All of them are 2 stories. They got multiple rooms per floor. And what we're going to do is we're going to check this out. I believe this is either a standard. I think this actually might be a premium deck. So you've got the standard room, deck rooms, and then you also do have some of the suites, which I've heard are actually really, really nice. But I believe those are all sold out. And of course, you know, I work here, so I don't get the priority on that per se, this in the middle of the season. Maybe like at the end of the season, I might get that. But middle of the season, those are already all sold out months in advance. But anyway, so I'm going to flip you guys over so you can see the room for yourself. And as you can see, 2 fantastic looking queen size beds. You do, of course, have your vanity mirror, your sink, everything that you need, your tea, coffee, and we'll swing over here. You've got, of course, the TV, desk, mini fridge for you, and then, of course, going into the bathroom, standard bathroom, nice looking tub. I can tell you guys right now, I'm going to flip you guys back over, tell you guys right now, I needed this, partly just because I'm sick filming this, but having a tub, I haven't had a bath since I got up here because, you know, employee housing, we have kind of like a nice communal shared space and they've all got like great showers, but they don't do baths. Those are much harder to clean and they take longer. So it's almost kind of like, you know, being at camp again, which is really a lot of fun. But there's every so often, like I've gotten to that stage in my life, I really need a bath. So that's partially why I got this room, not just for the video, but really because I wanted to take a bath and, maybe sweat out the rest of this cold. But anyway, of course, as I said, you do have the deck here. So we're going to flip you guys over and just give you a nice kind of look. Just a small table with a couple of chairs. Great to kind of sit out and have your coffee. And of course, you got all of the nature right in front of you. So, of course, we've got some clouds right now, and goldenrod, you could get a little bit of the mountain from here. Depending on which place that you have, you'll have different views of different parts of the whole property. And it's pretty much all forest all around the property. So you're pretty close to nature wherever you go. Also, if you're getting to your rooms, because the cabins, they're spread out throughout the lodge, they do have these large carts that they can take you. So you don't necessarily have to walk all the way to your room. They can just put up your baggage and basically take you around to different parts of the lodge for you. And that's part of the service for this. So, but anyway, I'm going to relax in the room for a minute, and then I'm going to grab some pizza to go. I'm going to showcase the pizza here in the room. And then later on for dinner, for me tomorrow, for you guys later in the video, I'll showcase, of course, the Resurrection Roadhouse, both for breakfast and for dinner. But anyway, I'm going to rest up real quick, and then let's go get some pizza. All right, so I've gone and got my pizza. This is the Mount Marathon pizza, which is basically considered the double pepperoni pizza, but absolutely fantastic. When it comes to pizzas here at the Resurrection Roadhouse, they do a fantastic job. Mainly because the dough itself, it comes from, what they take is the malts grains, like the leftover mash, from the local Stony Brewing Company when they're done with all their process. And they use that to mix in with the rest of the dough. So really good. It comes with, of course, basically mozzarella cheese. And then, of course, a nice helping of the red sauce, house red sauce, and double pepperoni. So we're going to try this Mount Marathon. So good. So good. Yeah. I'll showcase the restaurant for you guys tomorrow. But when you are not feeling super well, but you do have an appetite, you got a room like this, a nice pizza to go. Does wonders. Absolutely fantastic. Well, good morning, guys. And like I said, I was going to showcase a few things for you guys here today, particularly about the food surrounding the Windsong Lodge. Well, the first thing you're going to come to do is, of course, come to the cafe. And that is Peck's here in the main lodge where you saw earlier in the video. And the girls behind there do a fantastic job. They make great coffee. If you're looking for nice, like me, you know me, I'm just kind of a traditional Americano guy. Good stuff. Like I said, Alaskan coffee is fantastic. Yeah, if you watched my Seward video a couple weeks ago, you can find coffee anywhere in Alaska. It's needed when you're up here and you've got like 20 hours of sunlight for about 2-3 months during the summertime. But it's also a great place to come and get some snacks. They usually have breakfast burritos, breakfast sandwiches. Get here early for those because those usually run out. They come from the restaurant, but depending on how busy the restaurant is itself for breakfast and other prep work that needs to be done for dinner or banquets, they're not always able to continuously get a flow of new breakfast burritos and sandwiches. So if they run out, sometimes they just end up running out, at least for a certain amount of time. But their pastries, their banana bread is absolutely fantastic. But I am a big fan of this granola bar. Their granola bars, it's got almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts, pecans, cashews, Brazilian nuts. It's all packed with all the protein and stuff. Like if you're on a go and you don't have time for like the full breakfast over there, get one of these to go, and this will hold you while you're hiking and stuff. Mm, so good. But yeah, come say hi to the girls that work the coffee shop. Tell them I said hi, and get your coffee, get your banana bread or your muffin or your granola bar. Take it to go and enjoy your day. Okay, so now we're at the Resurrection Roadhouse, and I just got my breakfast. So we're gonna dig into breakfast first, and then I'm gonna go over how everything works here in the Resurrection Roadhouse compared to when it's connected to Windsong Lodge. But first, got myself, of course, the salmon eggs Benedict, and this looks absolutely fantastic. It is one of my favorite dishes on the breakfast menu. And of course, you just got your English muffin with local wild caught smoked sockeye salmon, and then, of course, the egg on top of the hollandaise. Just going to try that real quick. Mmm. Damn, that is so good. I love this dish. I don't get it all the time if I do come in for breakfast. Like, I think last time I had the berry French toast was phenomenal. They, of course, have the buffet. I'll go over that in a minute. But this here, with the salmon, the hollandaise, everything added together with the egg and everything, absolutely fantastic. So good. All right, so now that we have had our breakfast, a couple things of note about the Resurrection Roadhouse. This is, of course, the only restaurant and bar available on property. Of course, as you saw, you have the cafe, which I believe is open until it's like 6 a.m. to about 12:30 p.m. is when they close there. But of course, that's only pastries when they have that, the burrito sandwiches to go, and then, of course, the coffee. If you want the full breakfast, you come here from 6 to 11. 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is when they do the buffet. 6 to 11 is the menu itself. Now, the buffet, I believe right now this year is $26. You can go back and get as much as you want. I believe if you are part of specific groups, you will get vouchers. Otherwise, you're generally paying for the breakfast. I don't think that they right now have an option of getting your room, if you're just getting a room by yourself and getting the breakfast at the same time. So I think that is separate. Part of that is just because the Resurrection Roadhouse, while it is part of Pursuit Company and it is, of course, on the property where the lodge is, it is kind of its own separate entity. They don't do room charges here. They also, if you come here and get a drink at the bar later on, from when it's open from 4 till about 11 o'clock, you cannot take it back to your room. The one exception is if we open a bottle of wine for you, then we will bag that up, seal that, then you can take that back to the room. We'll even give you some glasses to take with you because they'll come back to us from housekeeping. But you cannot take an open container of alcohol from the restaurant across, the property to your room. So those are just some interesting rules. There is a place right around the corner. It's about from here, maybe about a 10 to 15 minute walk. I'll show you guys. I'll show that here in the video in a little bit, where you can go to Sacktown. That is the liquor store. So you can get that. Obviously get your liquor there and then take that back to the room. But as I said, a bottle of wine sealed up is the only option for us to give you alcohol to take back to the room from the bar or the restaurant. Now, the setup of the restaurant is also in a couple different parts. So you're obviously going to walk in, you check in with the host, whether you're doing breakfast or dinner. And there's about basically 3 or 4 different rooms for regular service. You, of course, have the main restaurant room. You have the alcove, which is where I'm sitting in. You have the Benson room. And excuse me, there's 5 because you also have the patio. On nice days, the patio is absolutely fantastic. You get this beautiful view, particularly if you can get lucky enough and have a sunny day where it's just absolutely gorgeous out there to sit out there. The front half of the deck is kind of that is seated by the host, but the back half of the deck, if that's not blocked off for a specific event or anything like that, that of course is that is where you go to the bar, you order, and then they'll you take your stuff over there. So that's kind of like bar service, counter service, where you take it and then go sit on that back patio, and that's kind of like first come first serve. And then of course you have our cozy bar, which of course this year one of the bartenders. So if you come up this season, you'll see me. Maybe in future seasons as well. Next season, we'll see. But definitely for sure, an awesome place. There are also 2 other rooms that are part of it that you generally won't see unless you're here for a specific, whether it's a conference or it's a wedding and whatnot. They do have a couple of banquet rooms as well available. I've already worked a couple of banquets myself, and they're nice, they're cozy, rather spacious, and it's kind of a great place to hang out. I've worked one wedding and one luncheon. I think it was, can't remember if it was National Geographic or Smithsonian. I think it was the Smithsonian luncheon. But anyway, yeah, you get a lot of groups that come in through here, but those are that is the setup of the Resurrection Roadhouse, and of course the rules of the Resurrection Roadhouse when it comes to the food and of course alcohol and all that. So now that we're done with breakfast and showcasing the Resurrection Roadhouse, although we will be going back for some dinner, I wanted to showcase a place that you could literally, it's right across the street from the lodge. Not many people think about it, but there is a small little trail on the opposite ends that you can basically, it opens up into a nice little clearing where you could come down, of course, to the Resurrection River, which eventually leads out into Resurrection Bay. And you just get this beautiful vista of the mountains, uninterrupted by the trees that basically block it partially from the Roadhouse and the lodge. And you just have this fantastic set of views. It's also a very fast-flowing river, particularly on this side, so I would definitely watch out for that. Occasionally we've gone out here to help wake us up, and you get a little bit of that like morning cold plunge, but I wouldn't recommend it in that side. Maybe down here or something like that. But it is still a really cool spot. Generally, you really don't see a whole lot of the wildlife out here. I have occasionally spotted, honestly, at the lodge, occasionally you'll get some moose that will walk by literally on this side of the road, and they'll kind of come through. There was one time they came through the employee housing area, which was kind of cool. Also terrifying because it was literally 2 baby moose and a mama in between me and the bathroom. I really had to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, crap. But, and occasionally I think once a season or not, you usually get some kind of bear sighting around the property. And they have protocols for that. There's a lot of safety stuff that we are trained for, and that the whole management and staff is trained for. So, if you see the animals, take a picture, but stay far away from them, particularly the bears. Just don't get in between them, and don't get in between them and the babies. If you see a baby bear or a baby moose without mama around, just assume that mama's somewhere around. But even still, it's nice to come out here, listen to the water, get some great pics, some views, and just hang out for a little while. It's a fantastic spot. I love Alaska. All right, so earlier I told you guys that I would bring you guys over to where Sacktown is, and this is basically, you're talking about Herman Lear Road is where the road that leads to Windsong Lodge and eventually heads into Kenai National Forest and National Park. And then, of course, right across the street from there, and it's, like I said, it's about 10, 15 minutes, this kind of little square that we have behind here, you have, of course, Sacktown, the liquor store. You also have the cannabis store right next to it. And then you have one of my favorite spots, which is called the Mud Hut. And the Mud Hut is basically a little coffee hut. And you'll see these all around Alaska as well, whether it's basically coffee. And then, of course, some of them will serve food as well in there. They do breakfast sandwiches, particularly on English muffins, biscuits and gravy, things like that. It's also really, really good. That was actually my lifesaver, particularly early season. I would come over here and get like a hearty breakfast and a coffee. And it would fill me up until I had to go to work, which is fantastic. They also have like the Kenai backpack tours or backcountry tours over here. So you don't have to go into town to get everything that you need when it comes to, both food, liquor, wine, and of course, some adventures as well. Oh, before I forget, I also recommend on that same road coming to the main road from Herman Lear, from the Windsong Lodge, I would also recommend the Salmon Bake, which is really cool. It's kind of like this kind of almost rustic looking spot. They even have a sign that says cheap beer and lousy food. I tell you, the beer is cheap. Food's actually not that lousy. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, that's another spot you want to check out here in this area around the Windsong Lodge. So one more spot that's nearby the Windsong Lodge within walking distance is the Turning Heads Kennel. And I highly recommend coming here. I'm probably going to be doing a future video here, either in the next couple of videos. But basically, this is a kennel for the mush dogs. So like if you ever watch like Togo or Balto and stuff like that, these are basically actual contenders for like the Iditarod mush dogs. A couple of the guys that work here do have a team that they brought down to work at this particular kennel during the summertime to keep the dogs in training. It's not just during the wintertime that they do all of the Iditarod race and the dog sled stuff. They also do it during the summertime as well to help them train. And you can come down here, book a tour. You'll see that whenever I get that particular video out. You get to meet the dogs, you get to meet the pups and stuff like that. It's really kind of cool. So look forward to that particular video in the future. But yeah, if you are looking to do a dog sled tour, come here to the Turning Heads Kennel. And as you can hear them in the back, those dogs are ready to go. Alrighty guys, so we got something a little special right now. If you guys were thinking of what does the suites look like, I actually got access to one. We're in between kind of check-in and check-out after the housekeeping has already been in here. This is 255. This is an Iris building. And this is one of the older suites. It's not one of the newer renovated ones. But still, it's going to give you an idea of what the suites look like compared to the standard room that you guys saw from me. So I'm going to flip you guys around. And then we are going to check this suite out. All right, so we're going to start in here. To the first right is your bathroom. As you can see, a much bigger bathroom. And you have a jet hot tub. Oh my gosh. That is something I really, really would like. I hope, because my mom is coming up here in September. And for like my last week of work. And I got her a room here. I hope they give boss, can we get one of these rooms, please? Because that is awesome. And my mom particularly would love that. But anyway, let's continue on. And then we have here, so you have kind of like more of a sitting room. And then, of course, the station, everything here for you. The microwave. I noticed that the standard room that I was in did not have the mic. And then, of course, your fridge. And this mini fridge also has the freezer too. So if you're looking for your ice, you're good there for your drinks. And then, of course, you have this of the bedroom part. So as you can see, absolutely fantastic. And like I said, this is one of the older rooms. When it comes to the suites, this is not one of the more newly renovated ones. But even still, this is, you got 3-4 people. Not bad. Maybe even, this is a sofa bed. So, you could have a 5th person there as well. So really, really kind of nice spot. And this particular one, you're right next to the lodge. So it's not as much of a walk as some of the other places. But again, you can always call the front desk and they will come and pick you up through one of either the little shuttles or the carts. But, I should turn the lights off. Give me a second. So one other thing of note that I wanted to mention, when you talk about Pursuit is not just, of course, the lodges here, and then they also have places in Banff, Talkeetna, Denali, and I believe even like in Iceland as well. So they are, they're an international group. However, when you're talking about specifically here in Seward with the Windsong Lodge, if you guys watched my video last week when I went on the Northwestern Glacier Fjord Tour on that particular boat cruise, that is part of like KFT Kenai Fjord Tours. That is part of Pursuit as well. So they'll have all the information here. You don't necessarily have to go all the way into town to look up information, and even to get tickets. You can get tickets. There's a little kiosk in there where you can get tickets for all the different types of tours that you can go on here in Seward, Alaska. So you just kind of go on, pick whatever tour that you're going to go on, and you go from there. It'll give you the start times, things like that. And then, of course, this will have the map of all of your different tours, where they go, how long they last, and then, of course, how much each one is. I highly recommend that Northwestern tour. It's a haul. It's the longest one. It's about 8 hours. Sometimes can get up to about 8:15, 8.5. If you guys saw that video, I highly recommend. If you haven't, go see it, because we got to see a lot. It was absolutely fantastic. And like I said, that's through KFT, Kenai Fjords Tours, and it was really, really amazing. And like I said, they're all part of Pursuit. All right, guys, so I'm going to rest up, take a nap, and I'll see you guys in just a moment for dinner. All right, and we are back for dinner, and this is going to be the final part of the entire Windsong Lodge video. But I had to come back to the Resurrection Roadhouse literally for dinner. And you might be thinking, you're up here in Alaska, what do you want? Crab legs, just king crab in general, salmon, sockeye salmon, king salmon. There's so many things, halibut, wild-caught halibut. However, you can find all of that stuff in many different places. And I will say here, salmon's fantastic, halibut piccata, amazing. As you guys saw, pizzas, fantastic. However, what is something very, very unique to the Resurrection Roadhouse here at the Windsong Lodge? And that is the nachos. Look at this right here, ladies and gentlemen. These are the Goliath nachos. They live up to the name Goliath. And good Lord, the amount of people that come into the restaurant or the bar and they ask, oh, let's get the nachos. I'm like, how many are your party? Oh, there's like 4 or 5 of us. Get the half order. Get the half order. This is the full order. I will tell you that. This is the full order of nachos. The half order, of course, is half of that. That is still a lot. And this is a monumental challenge. Let me tell you right now, some of this I'm going to be sharing with the rest of the crew. But I had to showcase it just because it is ridiculous. It's got, of course, the pico de gallo. It's got the avocado, the guacamole. It's got everything, and you can add protein to it. I added steak. Absolutely fantastic. It's messy. It's nachos. They're all over pickled jalapenos, salsa. You name it, you got it in here. It's just absolutely ridiculous the amount of things that you can get in this nacho plate. That's maddening. Like, just look at this. I have a big head. You guys know I have a big head. This is my head. This is the nachos. That's like 3 in my head. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, it's been a long day running around, so I will see you guys in the morning for the sign out. Good night. Well, good morning, everybody. And this is our checkout day. It has been a great 2 nights sleeping, taking a bath, and truly enjoying being in a room again. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this particular resort tour here of Windsong Lodge in Seward, Alaska. This is a great place to work. This is a great place to come and stay. You've got so much stuff around. Obviously, if you saw the last video that I did before this, you have the KFT tours. You have the town of Seward, which I did a couple videos before. And there's going to be a lot of other stuff I'm going to be doing going forward. I'm going to be trying the dog mushing. I'll probably take you guys to the Kenai Fjords National Park as well. There is so much to do around this area. And right now, my allergies are starting to kick back up. So I'm not getting emotional. I'm literally just... the pollen in the air right now has been killing me the last few days. I think that's what part of this cold is more sinus than anything. But anyway, guys, I'm going to sign off here as I just cry a river of sinus issues. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. And of course, if you want to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon page. So definitely go and check those links out down in the description. And until we meet again, guys, peace out. Have a great night.